Hi guys, welcome back to the Home and Homestead. If you're new, I'm Rebecca. Today we're going to be heading to the kitchen and we're going to make some chocolate covered pretzels. And we're going to do 3 different types of pretzels. We'll do rounds and pretzel rings and peanut butter filled pretzels. And we're going to cover them with various types of chocolate and decorations, so we'll eventually have 4 different styled chocolate covered pretzel treats. So these would be wonderful during the holiday season or to have for different parties. So you can play around with the sprinkles and decorations that you use to suit whatever you would like. So let's head over to the kitchen and we can get going creating some chocolate covered pretzel treats that'll be perfect for the holiday season. Alright, for today's chocolate covered pretzel treats, we're going to be using 3 different ways that you can find pretzels. One, we're going to be using some rounds. So I thought these would be cute. We can make little snowflakes and maybe little ornaments. We also have rings, and these would be nice to create little wreaths. Then I have some peanut butter filled pretzels, and these are little rectangles, so I thought these might look like little gift boxes. So we have 3 different types of pretzels, and we'll cover them with different flavors of chocolates and use different sprinkles to get 4 different looks for our chocolate covered pretzel treats. And I'll be using my Instant Pot today in order to keep a nice constant temperature for melting our chocolate so we can keep working and creating the different styles of our chocolate covered treats. What I did today was I filled my Instant Pot to the halfway point. This is a 3-quart Instant Pot. And then I'm using a 1.5 quart glass Pyrex bowl. And what I did was I put it on slow cook on high until it started to create steam on the bottom of the bowl, and then I even put it on normal. So now it's keeping a nice constant temperature, heating the bottom of this glass bowl, and we can keep melting chocolates so we can coat our pretzels. I'll be using 3 types of chocolate melts today, as well as some chocolate chips. I'll be using Ghirardelli milk chocolate flavored melting wafers, Ghirardelli dark chocolate melting wafers, and some white chocolate or vanilla flavored melting wafers. And I'll also use some semi-sweet chocolate chips to help spread out the chocolate melts so that it'll cover more pretzels. So what I like to do is do equal parts of whichever flavored melting wafer I'm going to be using and chocolate chips. With the exception of the white chocolate or the vanilla melt, I like to keep those by themselves so we have a nice white color for our coating. So I will actually start with the white chocolate melts today. We'll just place them into our bowl on top and allow that to heat up, and then we'll start to melt these little chocolate wafers. Now for placing our coated pretzels, I have a rimmed baking sheet, some parchment paper, then I just have a cooling rack on top. This works nice because then the chocolate will drain away from your pretzels, and once they harden and cool a bit, then we can remove them and keep using them. I have a couple setups like this so that I can continue to create these little pretzel treats. Just stir these a bit. We'll just allow these to melt. Now I have turned my Instant Pot back up to slow cook and more. This has helped to melt these white chocolate or vanilla melts. So now we can make our first variety of chocolate covered pretzel treat. And I was thinking I'd use the rounds with the white chocolate to make little snowballs. I was thinking of doing 1 bag per treat style, and this is a 12-ounce bag of the pretzel rounds. So we'll work on making a bag of our white chocolate covered pretzels to make little snowballs. The utensils I'm using today are from the Wilton candy making kit. I've used this in different videos as well. I can link this in the description below the video as well. Otherwise, a few forks or a slatted spoon would work nicely. Just put them onto the cooling rack here. Allow the excess chocolate to drain away if it needs to. Try to separate them out. I thought they would fit in each of these little squares well, but we'll see. All right, so I have a half of a bag of the first pretzel rounds, all covered with the white chocolate. So I'll set this off to the side. And we'll get our second tray's worth of white chocolate melts covered pretzel rounds to make our snowballs. I did some kind of individual and real round and nice looking, and then I also have some in little clusters, which I thought would be fun to just pick up a little cluster of the chocolate covered pretzel treat. Eat it more like a piece of brittle or something. Keep covering these pretzels. And I have it on slow cook more where the setting is, keeping it nice and melted and a nice shiny sheen to the chocolate melts. So I'll keep covering these little pretzel rounds. And here I have a second tray of our white chocolate covered pretzel rounds. I just have a little bit left to do to finish that first bag. So let me set this off to the side. And here is that first batch. And they've hardened. So I can remove them from this cooling rack and put them right onto the parchment paper now. I'll keep working on finishing up these pretzel rounds. So I finished up that first bag. So we have our little snowballs finished. So I melted a little more of this white chocolate or vanilla melting wafers here. And we're going to do some of the pretzel rings. These will make more of a wreath shape. So we'll put that in here. Now let's do enough to fill the rest of this tray. Slide it onto the tray to set. And while it's still wet, I'm going to add probably just one mint M&M. If you need to, you can just add a little bit more of the chocolate where you're going to put the M&M. And we'll have little pretzel wreaths. All right, so we finished up this little cooling rack with our white chocolate wreaths with the mint M&Ms on there. And I have 5 of each color M&M, so that worked out just right. So now all I need to do is tidy up a little bit. I'll wash the items that have the white chocolate on them. Just make sure that for your mixing bowl that you have with your Instant Pot for melting your chocolate, or if you're using a double boiler to melt your chocolate, just make sure the bowl is nice and dry. Then it'll help your melting wafers and your chocolate to stay nice and shiny and smooth for coating. Place this off to the side. And next we'll do some milk chocolate coverings. All right, now we could do some milk chocolate covered rounds of the pretzels. And these I'm going to decorate so they'll be more like an ornament. So I'm going to do equal parts milk chocolate melting wafers and semi-sweet chocolate chips. So I'll do a half cup of each to start. And I like to do the mixture because 1, it stretches out your chocolate melts, and 2, the semi-sweet chocolate chips kind of tone down the sweetness of a milk chocolate, and they also help to sweeten a little bit the dark chocolate. So we'll just mix these together. Now that our chocolate has melted, it's nice and shiny and smooth, we can add some more of our pretzel rounds. We're doing some milk chocolate ornaments. So place them onto this cooling rack here. And while they're still nice and shiny and the chocolate is still warm, I'm going to sprinkle some little decorative toppings on here. These are some tiny little nonpareils. I'll use different flavored and colored of these sprinkles to tell the difference between milk chocolate and dark chocolate, and to give it some nice variety in our serving dish. So now I'll keep covering these chocolate rounds with the milk chocolate mixture. So now I have 2 trays of the milk chocolate covered pretzel rounds, and I did a full tray of the milk chocolate wreaths here. So I'll set those aside so they can harden. Now, since we have some milk chocolate melting in here still, I thought I'd do the peanut butter filled pretzels. Now these have a nice little rectangular shape, so I thought they would kind of look like little gift boxes, and I can put sprinkles on to make them look festive. I thought chocolate covered peanut butter filled pretzels, that's a nice little snack. So let's get these out of here. I get them onto the cooling rack. They can drain away a little bit. The wreaths I did just on the parchment paper, and they did fine with that. The rings are a little bit trickier to get off of the cooling rack. If you just pop these chocolate covered items from the underside, they come up pretty nice, but the rings are a little more fragile. So I didn't have to worry about them breaking. I just put them right onto the parchment paper. And now while these are still shiny and wet here, I'm going to sprinkle them with some red and green. These are little jimmies. Some festive little sprinkles. And I'll keep doing these. All right, now for our final type of chocolate, we're going to be doing some dark chocolate melting wafers. So I think I'm just gonna do straight dark chocolate. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes I will add some chocolate chips of equal proportions in order to stretch out the use of the melting chocolate. We have some more pretzel rounds. Once this chocolate is melted, we'll do some more of the rounds. We'll make some Christmas colored nonpareils for our ornaments. So now we'll let the chocolate wafers melt, and once they're ready, we can continue to do some chocolate covered pretzels. All right, so now we've finished the final chocolate covered pretzel treat, and this is the dark chocolate pretzel rings to make a wreath type of little snack. And I added some more of the holiday colors, so the red, green, and white nonpareils, just to help differentiate the dark chocolate from the milk chocolate in this little wreath-shaped chocolate covered pretzel. So now what I'm going to do is allow all of the chocolate covered pretzel treats a chance to harden up and set, and once that happens we can come back and have a closer look at all the different chocolate covered pretzels and little candies that we made for the holidays. Alright, here we have all of our chocolate covered pretzel treats. Now we use 3 different types of pretzels, and we use different types of chocolates and sprinkles, so really we have 4 or 5 different little sweet treats that we can enjoy during the holiday season. Now on the platter on the far left I have white chocolate covered pretzel rounds, and these were the pretzels that I used. And those I'm saying are little snowballs. And then just to the right of that I have some milk chocolate covered pretzel rounds with the little colorful nonpareils or little sprinkles. And to the right of that I have some dark chocolate covered ones with some red, green, and white sprinkles. Then to the right of that we have some peanut butter filled pretzels that I covered with milk chocolate and some green and red sprinkles. They're really quite delicious. Those will be a nice addition to a platter of candies and other holiday treats. Then to the far right I have the wreaths, and I used some pretzel rings. These are the pretzels that I used. And I covered those with the white chocolate, milk chocolate, and dark chocolate. So I have 3 different varieties of those. And then I used some mint M&Ms. So they have a nice minty flavor and they look nice and festive. So here we have a number of different sweet treats and candies that we can share at family gatherings and throughout the holiday season. I like to store them in glass airtight containers. So on the far left here I have kind of a cookie jar type of container. And to the right I have 2 different clamp top jars. This one has a peanut butter filled, and these are the mint M&M wreaths. And those will keep nicely for a number of weeks, and so then we can enjoy them and share them over the holiday season. So if you'd like to try making some of your own chocolate covered pretzel treats, I really enjoy using my Instant Pot and making kind of a double boiler with that, because then you can keep your chocolate melts nice and warm to a perfect temperature, and you can continue to do candies and cover things with chocolate for hours and hours doing it that way. And that works quite nice for doing projects like this. So if you're planning to do either one of these recipes or maybe some other candies that you need to do some chocolate covered coating on them, I hope that you'll consider using the Instant Pot as well, like I showed you today. Otherwise you can certainly use the microwave and heat up in batches. Or you can do the traditional double boiler method using a pot on the stovetop with a bowl on top. So if you like other ideas or inspiration on homemade sweet treats or candy, I do have a playlist on the topic. And the chocolate covered pretzel treats, I made them for the holiday season, but you could certainly use different colors and different types of sprinkles to make them for whatever holiday or gathering that you would like to use them for. Well, I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me today while we made these chocolate covered pretzel treats, and we were able to make a nice festive platter to enjoy during the holiday season. And if you happen to be new to the channel or haven't done so yet, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. So please be sure to hit that subscribe button below and continue to watch my channel, The Home and Homestead, for some more homemade, homegrown, and home style inspiration. Well, I hope you're having a great day and a wonderful holiday season. See you next time. Take care.